Why am I smiling like this?
I want to tell you guys a story. I watched a video the other day. It was like one of those tag videos. And it was the worst date ever video. I can guarantee you guys that my worst date is worse than any worst date you've probably heard on YouTube thus far if you watch these kind of things. This is beyond the worst date. This is crazy. I gotta tell this story. I'm gonna do some story time tag videos. Are people supposed to tag you? Like, I still don't know, like, YouTube etiquette. I don't know how it really works. I'm gonna do some of these tag videos, like the draw my life and all these other things. Draw my life. That's gonna be fun. But I'm gonna start off doing this crazy date story because this one's good. This one's really good. And I just want to preface this by saying, thank God I'm married. I hated being, like, single and dating. I just hate it. And especially nowadays where, you know, like with all this like phone shit and like Tinder and like guys are disgusting sending girls dick pics and everything. No, thank you. Amen. God bless. Thank God I'm married. Thank God. Thank God. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, husband. Thank you for being crazy enough to put up with my shit. Crazy date story. So first of all, the way I met this guy was pretty crazy in itself. I was in my backyard. I still lived at home. I was probably like in my early 20s at the time, like maybe 23, 24, maybe I just turned 25. I'm not even sure. I was young. Might have been the summer after my dad passed away. No, because I was dating somebody at that time, which is a whole nother nightmare. I think I was around 24. My mom were in her backyard and the neighbor behind us were having like some work done in their yard. And they're trimming branches down. So we're sitting there and we're like watching the branches and we're like, oh my God, I hope he doesn't trim that branch. That blocks the sun out, you know, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, this guy pops over the fence and he was really good looking. You know, me and my mom were like, hello. You know, nice looking Italian looking guy. Just don't expect a good looking guy to pop up in your backyard, I guess. We start talking to him and we sat there and talked to him for like an hour and he's like telling us, you know, he owns his own business and blah, 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 and whatever. My mom's like, oh, I need some branches trimmed at my house. Do you have a business card? And so I was like, I'll come over and I'll get it. So I walked around the block. I go over and the guy ends up asking me out on a date. Fine. I didn't think I was going to hear from him. A couple days later, he calls me up and he's like, oh, you know, would you like to go to the movies? So I'm like, all right, you know, what the hell? I just got to preface this. Well, not preface this, but I just got to mention, I hate going to the movies, probably because I have ADD. The last movie I saw in the movie theater was the Biggie movie that came out. Me and my husband went. That was the one and only time we went to the movies together because I hate going to the movies, especially nowadays that everybody's like so rude on their phones and like crunching popcorn, and I have ADD and like sensory disorders. I can't sit still, A, that long. B, I get like anxiety in the movie theater. I don't know what it is. And in restaurants. I'm really weird. I got problems. But I get like this weird anxiety from sitting still. I can't sit still for really too long. I don't even know what the fuck that has to do with anything. Why am I even telling you guys that? But I was like, whatever. At this time, I think this was like the Fandango days. Is that even a thing? I don't even know. I don't go to the movies. Well, you couldn't order tickets, you know? So we went, you might have been able to, but I didn't do that. So we went to the movie theater, which is actually right across from where I'm sitting right now, oddly enough. And we just walked in and we're like, whatever, we'll see the next movie. Some Tom Cruise movie, which I was like really not into, but I was like, all right, whatever. I didn't want to be a pain in the ass on the first date. So I was like, yeah, Tom Cruise, I love him. I hate him. He's so annoying, especially since with that Scientology shit. I was like, all right, let's go to the movie. So we walk in and we see that we have like a good hour or so before we have to, you know, before the movie starts. So we're like, all right, what are we going to do? We have to kill an hour of time. So there's a restaurant called Friendly's across the street. If you don't live on the East Coast and you don't have a Friendly's, you don't know what you're missing. Friendly's is fucking amazing. Reese's peanut butter cup sundae. I can't even tell you guys how delicious this is. There's peanut butter sauce on this. I could just, I eat like 5 a week. It's really bad. It's an addiction. I might have to go to rehab. So anyway, I said, you know, we weren't going to eat. We're like, let's just get Friendly's, or maybe we got an appetizer. I don't remember. I really don't remember, because what was about to happen after this, like, who cares about the ice cream? So we sat there, we ate our ice cream, and then it's time to go back. Let me just tell you, this guy was, first of all, he was younger than me. Whatever, I didn't know that when I met him, but he was a couple of years younger than me. But he had his shit together, or so I thought. You know, he had his own house, his own landscaping business. He drove a black Escalade, you know, truck, you know, like the pickup style one. He had like nice chrome 22s on it. I'm thinking, oh wow, well, you know, he's young, but he has his shit together, so that's good, you know. Who cares about his age? So we eat our ice cream. You know, we just talk. I don't even remember the date. I don't remember this portion of the date. So we're about to leave, go back to the movie theater, which was right across the street. We got in his truck. It had just started to like rain. And you know, like when it just starts to rain, the roads get a little kind of slick. I don't really know what reason this guy did this, but he pulls out of the parking lot and we had to like go around. I really don't know what was going through his head. I don't know if he was trying to like show off for me or like some people that were walking by. I don't really know what the point of him doing this was, but he kind of like tried to do like a spin out donut, you know? And I'm pretty sure that truck's probably rear wheel drive too. I'm not 100% sure on that. Don't quote me. But for whatever reason, he thought it was like cool to do this like spin out donut thing as we're like exiting the parking lot. So he kind of like floors it in the parking lot and then like misses the turn like by a long shot. And we end up jumping over the curb divider. So here we are. And here's the curb divider. We end up jumping over this curb divider and fucking landing on a Hyundai Elantra. I don't know if you guys know what a Hyundai Elantra is, but it's a very small car. The car's length is probably about the width of an Escalade truck. So we jump over, we hit this car, we're both like, whoa! Like the whole side of this fucking car was smashed in. I'm not kidding you guys, this thing was totaled. There was no way that this thing was gonna drive anywhere ever again. This guy literally jumped over this curb like Gravedigger because the roads were a little slick and I guess he was trying to be cool and like kind of skid out. And in my brain, I'm like, we're gonna just, you know, have to go inside and, you know, exchange information and call the cops. So, you know, I'm like reaching in my pocket to get my phone. So I'm thinking that he's gonna park. No, that's not what happened. That's not what happened at all. This motherfucker throws the car into reverse and takes off. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I don't know what the hell was going through his mind at this time. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm sorry about this sunlight. And he's like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. And I'm like, what? Where are we going? This guy is now going down a residential street. He's like, I gotta get rid of my truck. Doing about 90. I'm not kidding you guys. We're doing 90. He's blowing through stop signs. He's blowing through red lights. And I am crapping my pants. I'm like, what are you doing? We didn't even see the damage on his car. We had no idea what was going on with his car. So I was just like, oh my God, I'm going to jail tonight. Great.
I don't know what to do. Oh my God, this is horrible.
We get back to his house and you would think, Leanna, time to say bye-bye. Go on your merry way. He looks at his watch and he's like, well, we could still make the movie. Let's take your car. So I was like, all right, like a dumbass. Okay. We get in my car. We drive to the movies and we're like, nobody's going to recognize us. We were in Friendly's, but, you know, we're in the movies. It's dark. Nobody's going to recognize us. And we got there like just in time, you know. We were just like halfway through the previews. We go all the way up at the top and we sit in our seats. We got our popcorn and our soda, our overpriced candy and whatever else that we got. Opening credits start and I'm like, all right. No, I'm still sitting there like, what just happened? Like, this kid just did a hit and run, basically. He's like bugging out in his seat. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. You know, going on and on. It's like opening credits of the movie. And all of a sudden, I see flashlights coming up the row next to us. Since when do the movie theaters have ushers? These aren't assigned seats. Why is there flashlights in here? Well, it was the fucking cops. So this guy, I don't know how the hell he knew we were there, comes walking up with two police officers and they're like, were you guys just at Friendly's? I let him do the talking and he's like, yeah. The cop goes, there was a truck that smashed into a car. All of a sudden, this kid goes, I know, did you see that? That shit was crazy, bro. Oh my God, oh my God. So now he's pretending that he was a witness. And so the cop's like, well, could you come outside? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to jail. How do I explain this one to my mother? Remember that guy we met in the backyard? Yeah, he smashed a Hyundai Elantra like Bigfoot. And now I'm going to jail. All right, talk to you later. Bye, our first date is in jail. Like, oh my God. So now we go down with the cops and the cops start questioning him. And they're like, you know, well, were you there? Did you see it? And the kid's like, yeah, you know, he's like, I think it was an Escalade. The cops like, we got reports that it was a black Escalade that hit this car. And he's like, oh, really? No, I thought it was silver. So the cops are like, what kind of car do you have? And he's like, I have a white Escalade. Oh my God, this kid just fucking lied to the cops. I just didn't want anything to do with this. So I just kind of like slunk away. I'm watching this from afar now, and he's handing the cops his license, and the cop is like writing down all of his information and all this shit. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I'm going in the bathroom. I'm in the bathroom, and I'm like splashing cold water on my face. Like, what the fuck? Am I dreaming? Is this real life right now? Is this really happening? I have like anxiety attack. I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? So I'm like, I gotta go back out there. Like, what's going on? And I don't know what this kid said to the cops, but all of a sudden he comes running into the movie theater. I go, what happened? So he starts telling me, and he's like, the cop took down my information. And I'm like, they're gonna go to your house right now, because they didn't believe this kid. It was very obvious. So he's like, you really think so? So I'm like, yeah. He lied to the cops about how he got there. So I had to like pick this guy up in the back of the movie theater. It was so crazy. I can't even believe I was like still going along with this shit. I don't know what was wrong with me at that time. I guess I didn't really have such a voice. Like I didn't know how to tell people to fuck off at that time. I hadn't found my voice yet. So now we're in my car. I'm driving, and I'm like, dude, I just want this kid out of my car right now. I don't even want to be with this person. I just don't want anything to do with this. I'm good. So now I'm like fucking hightailing it back to this kid's house. I drop him off like pretty much while the car was moving. I was like, get the fuck out. Thank you. Goodbye. And he's like, meet me in Comac. And I'm like, meet you in Comac? Like where? Comac is a huge town. It's like saying, meet me on Earth somewhere. Like where? Where in Comac? I literally like just dropped him off and took off. As I'm pulling off his block, which was this narrow, skinny block. He lives in this like weird neighborhood where the fucking streets are like all small and can barely fit a car down it. As I'm pulling off his block, the cops are turning in, and I'm like, that's it. It's done. This kid's going to jail. There's no question. So I just started driving home at this point, because I was like, I gotta go home. This is too crazy. I'm like calling up everybody I know. I'm calling my best friend. I'm like, I gotta tell somebody the story. Nobody's answering their phones. All of a sudden, about 15 minutes later, he calls me. I'm like, how did you get out of your driveway? Like in my head, when the cops were pulling on his block, he wasn't even in his car yet. I mean, it was literally like seconds after I dropped him off. I pulled off his block, and the cop came on as I was turning away from his house. I don't know how this kid did it, but he somehow jammed this big truck into reverse and fucking came out. And by the way, there was no damage to his truck. He like cracked his headlight. Like that was it. And there was like a little scuff mark on his thing. But he cremated this car. This car was like pulverized by this big truck. Like, could you imagine coming out and you're like, my car looks like it was at Monster Jam. Like, who was having demolition derby out here while I was eating my ice cream? I can't even imagine what that kid's was going through that kid's brain, and I felt so bad. But if the cop would have found him, he would have been like, your headlight is smashed and you have shit all over. So he's like, meet me at this body shop. I don't know, he had some uncle owned some body shop somewhere, and he dropped the truck off in this body shop. I should have at that point just been like, dude, take a taxi, see you later, call one of your friends. I don't know what to tell you. But stupid Leanna, who doesn't know how to stand up for herself at that point in time, she's like, okay, I'll come pick you up. So I drive all the way to Comac, and I pick him up. The whole way back to his house, he's like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to jail. I'm gonna be in trouble. Blah, blah, blah. I'm so stupid. I should have did this. I'm like, well, you should have just went inside and exchanged your insurance information, and you wouldn't be going through all this shit. That would be too easy, right? So we get back to his house, and this is where things got even weirder for me. I really just wanted to go. I was like ready to make up some excuse. I have diarrhea. I'm dying. We get back to his house, and he's bugging out at this point. He's like, please don't leave me. Please don't leave me. I'm in so much trouble. Like, I don't know what to do. What if the cops come here? What if they search my house? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, did you have anything in your house that the police would be upset about? And he goes, look under my bed. And I'm like, what? Just look under my bed. So I'm like, okay, this is weird. I've never had anybody tell me to look under their bed on the first date, but okay. I bend down, I lift up the bed skirt. Under his bed, there is nothing but a Glock 9 sitting in the center and a rubber glove that's just kind of hanging from like the box spring. And I'm like, oh, yeah. It's late. I gotta go. And he's like, don't leave me. I'm like, listen, I really gotta go. Call me tomorrow. Needless to say, I didn't answer his phone call the next day. Oh, what are we gonna do tomorrow? Could we rob a bank? Could we kill somebody? Ooh. Why do you have a gun and a rubber glove. What is this all about? Why are you showing me this? Why do you think I care? Why do you think I want to see this? I don't want to see this. I gotta go. My cat is sick. I don't even have a cat. I gotta go find a cat that's sick. Oh, cool. No, that's normal. That's totally normal to have under your bed. I jammed it out of there. The craziest night of my life. Literally. Well, it was one of the craziest nights of my life. I don't think he ever got in trouble because he did end up calling me like one time, like way after. And I went to the beach with him. I don't know why. I was so stupid when I was young. Holy shit, was I stupid. I just didn't know how to stand up for myself. Like, hello, Liana. Like, nowadays, Liana would punch this guy in the face and be like, you fucking idiot, stop the car and let me call an Uber. I got caught in some pretty stupid situations sometimes. God, I was an idiot. He never got in trouble for this. He completely got away with it. He dropped his car, and this poor kid, if you're out there, kid, I'm so sorry. I have guilt. I feel so bad. I don't know what this guy's story was. I don't know if his family was like in the mafia. I don't really know. Probably should have called the cops on him, really. I probably should have ratted him out. I thought everybody was in the mafia back in the day. I don't know what my problem was. You live in New York, you know a lot of Italian people, you think everybody's in the mafia and they're going to kill you, especially when they're showing you Glock 9 and rubber gloves under their bed. So, needless to say, that was the worst date I've ever been on. Like, there's nothing in a second close. I mean, a hit and run on a first date, who does that? Beat that one, YouTube. Beat it. Just beat it. Wanna be defeated. Have a banana, have a whole bunch. It doesn't matter what you have for lunch. Just eat it, eat it, eat it. Eat it, eat it, woo! Random fact, Weird Al was the first concert I ever went to. Alright guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I really don't like doing this. See, this is another thing that I'm bad at. I'm like bad at like sales and selling myself. Like I had a telemarketer job once and I got fired. Who gets fired as a telemarketer? I'm not good at like pressuring people. I guess this is like part of this helping get your name out there. So if you could, just like give me a thumbs up. Maybe I'll just write it. And subscribe to my channel if you want to hear more crazy stories because I got tons of them. And I'll talk to you guys soon.